Mayweather Pacquiao 2 and Spence Crawford. Are we going to get both fights? Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, the rematch, will be confirmed later this week, according to Floyd Mayweather. And Bob Arum says Spence wants no part of Terence Crawford. We get into both of that. Let's start with big news, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. I want to get into this because a lot of people are out there hating, and I'm not a fan of the fight either, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100. This fight will do well. I may not be into it. You may not be into it. But Mayweather has a huge following, and his supporters are loyal supporters. Mayweather could announce that he was coming back to fight Betty White, and it would do 1 million pay-per-view sales at $100 a pop. On top of that, Manny Pacquiao looks sensational against Lucas Matisse. A lot of people are going to pick Pacquiao. I'm telling you right now, people are going to pick Pacquiao. There's two reasons why Floyd Mayweather fights do so well. There's two reasons why Mayweather sells as well as he does. The first reason, obviously, people like Floyd Mayweather. He has a huge following. He's a special, unique, once-in-a-generation fighter. Hands down the best of his era. And people like to see greatness. He also has to get the gab, but he is a special, unique fighter. That's the first reason. The second reason Floyd Mayweather sells so well, people want to see Mayweather lose, especially get knocked out. Being off 3 years, and don't give me Conor McGregor. He fought a guy who had never been in the ring before. It's been 3 years since he fought Berto, almost to the day. So he's been off 3 years. He's 41. He's not going to be nearly as good as he was when they fought 3.5 years ago. Sorry to tell you that. He's just not going to be as good. Pacquiao looked excellent against Matisse. And you could say Matisse gave it up. Matisse didn't want to be there. Pacquiao looked great. Pacquiao has run off some good wins since that Floyd Mayweather fight. He's beaten Bradley. He's beaten Vargas. And now he's beaten Matisse. That's a pretty good resume since that last fight. So he still has something left in the tank. People who want to see Floyd Mayweather lose see this as not only their last chance, but their best chance, right? Floyd's not coming back. He's not going to fight Crawford. He's not going to fight Spence. He's done fighting the best guys out there. He'll fight Pacquiao. Pacquiao's 39. He'll be 40 by the end of the year. I don't know. He'll probably be 40 by the time they fight. So they'll both be in their 40s. And it's a big payday. He says he's coming back for a 9-figure payday. Well, that's $100 million or more. I think he gets it. Does it do what the first fight did? No. Does it do really, really, really well? Does it do huge, massive numbers? I think so. I think so. I think it does more than the Canelo Mayweather fight did. I think it does. These are two huge names, and you're going to get people who buy this fight to watch Mayweather lose, or hopefully watch him lose. Now, if he wins or loses, I'm not giving a prediction on that yet. When the fight does happen, I'll break it down. But the reason why people buy it is because A, people love Mayweather, and B, people hate Mayweather, right? Howard Stern famously said, anyone with any talent can get people who like them to listen to them. Can you get the people who hate you to listen to you, and then bring them back? Mayweather's got that, right? That thing that Howard Stern talking about, the people who can't stand you, the people who are disgusted by you. Can you get their money? Can you get their attention? Can you get them? And they do. I'm not a Mayweather fan per se. I mean, I rooted for him, rooted against him in almost every single big money fight he had, with the exception of the first Pacquiao fight and the Ricky Hatton fight. Then I got to root for the American. But when he fought Mosley or he fought Cotto, any of the big, Arturo Gatti was my guy. When he fought any of those big names, Guerrero, I rooted for. I mean, I know those guys aren't going to beat him, but I wanted to see someone beat Mayweather, so I get it, right? But as a hardcore and as a former boxer, I understand the uniqueness of what Floyd Mayweather does. So I get it from the perspective of I want to watch greatness, and I also get it from the perspective of I don't like Floyd Mayweather, and I will pay my $80, $90, $100 to potentially see him lose. And I think if he is going to be beaten, that this could be the opportunity. Look, I picked against Floyd Mayweather twice in his career. Okay? I'll be honest, and obviously I was wrong both times. The first time I picked against Floyd Mayweather was really early in his career against Genaro Hernandez. Hernandez wasn't that far removed from beating Azuma Nelson. He was a pro. Really, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Genaro Hernandez was an excellent 130-pounder. He never lost at 130. The only time he ever lost was at 135 to De La Hoya. And De La Hoya was much bigger and stronger than him. And I just looked at Genaro, and Mayweather was really young. I think he was like 20 years old. I said, no, this is too much too soon for Mayweather. Mayweather's going to regret this. We did not know how great Mayweather was then. So, I was wrong because Mayweather was that great. The second time I picked against Mayweather was Shane Mosley. Yeah. Mayweather was really, really inactive at that point. He had only fought once in about 3 years, and that was against Marquez, who was much smaller than him. And he looked great against Marquez, don't get me wrong, but he'd taken about 2 years off before that. And then he fought Marquez, and he looked good, but Marquez was, a lightweight or super featherweight coming up to fight Mayweather in a fight that should have never happened, in my opinion. So, on top of that, Mosley looked so good in annihilating Antonio Margarito. I mean, he looked so good. At 37, that might have been the best performance of his career besides the first De La Hoya. It may have been the best performance of his career. I mean, Mosley looked so good and so young and so fresh in that fight. So I was like, and Mosley was obsessed with that fight. That was the one fight he wanted. And I thought the combination of him looking so good in his last fight, the amazing motivation he was going to have for this fight, and the fact that Floyd was kind of inactive, not really fighting too often, was all going to come together, and Floyd and Mosley was going to pull an upset. Obviously, I was way off the mark on that one, right? So after those two fights, I said I'm not going to bet against Floyd Mayweather again. And obviously he never lost again. I never bet against him again. And I don't think I will. But this is different. This is Floyd at 42 years old or 41 years old, whatever he is. I mean, if you bet Pacquiao, you're not betting against Floyd. You're saying, look, Floyd's way past his prime. He hasn't been in the ring in 3 years. Don't say Conor McGregor. So, look, it is reasonable. I think it's reasonable. Even though Mayweather schooled Pacquiao a little bit in their first fight, I think it's reasonable that people pick Pacquiao. Now, that's not my prediction. I'm not telling you who I'm predicting. I think you can guess. But it's not unreasonable to think, okay, well, Pacquiao stayed active, he's put together good wins, and Mayweather hasn't fought anybody. Literally, in 3 years. So there's a lot of appeal there. A lot of people are going to want to buy this. I think it does 3 million view sales. At $100 a pop, that's $300 million. I don't know what the split is, but let's say, Floyd gets 100, Manny gets 50, and then they split the rest of the revenue up some other way. That seems reasonable. And Pacquiao's got his tax problem. This would pay that off, I would imagine. It makes sense for both fighters, and I think more people are going to buy it than you're suspecting. So that's that fight. Now let's get on to real boxing, right? The guys that Floyd Mayweather is not going to fight at this point in his career. That's Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. For my money, the best fight that can be made in the entire sport of boxing right now, 2018, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. They're the two best American stars, perhaps. Two excellent styles. Bob Arum says that Spence doesn't want anything to do with this fight. Spence may not want this fight. Let's be real. He's changed his attitude quite a bit. Look, he said about a year ago to Crawford, less than a year ago, probably beginning of this year, if he wants to fight, go take the WBO belt off of Horn, and then come see me. Mission accomplished, Spence. Now Spence is criticizing his resume. He ain't beat nobody. Look, I don't want to get into this kind of little tit-for-tat thing. Terrence Crawford's resume is drastically better than Errol Spence. And I love Errol Spence. Errol Spence is my Dallas, Texas guy. I root for Spence. He's a heck of a nice guy. I've met him several times. I'm not knocking Spence. What I'm saying is, objectively, Terrence Crawford's resume is infinitely better. Spence has Kell Brook, better win than anything Crawford has. But after that, he only got Peterson, who was washed up, and Chris Algieri, who's not good. Crawford has Gamboa, Burns, Ray Beltran, Victor Postal, Felix Diaz, Jeff Horn. Do we say Postal, Diaz? I mean, there are so many good. Ndongo, of course, right? Like, you guys knock Ndongo. Ndongo won 2 world titles in a matter of a couple of months. Ndongo was legit. He just can't take it to the body, apparently. But Ndongo's a good fighter. Now, I'm not saying he'd beat Spence or Brooke. He wouldn't. But you can't say someone who destroys Ndongo like that, who won 2 world titles quickly, is no good. Ndongo's a good fighter. You know, he was really tall and long, a good puncher, and a good boxer for that weight class. You know, Postal was really good. And Crawford disposed of these guys. And then Gamboa, Burns. Look, Ray Beltran is better, objectively, than Algieri. Now, he's a 135 pounder, Algieri's a 140. If Beltran fought Algieri, I would pick Beltran to win, but Algieri would be bigger. But I think, and then Thomas Delarme. Look, objectively, Thomas Delarme and Chris Algieri, they're about equal, right? And that's like an afterthought on Crawford's resume. So Crawford's resume is objectively better than Spence's. It's possible that Errol Spence doesn't want this fight. Look, I've spoken to Mighty Mo Hooker. He's in Dallas, Maple Avenue Boxing Gym. I had many conversations with him. And he said to me, look, Spence calls everyone out, but doesn't really want that smoke. Look, take it for what you want. Those two have known each other since they were little kitty kids, and Hooker basically said, he's not serious when he calls those guys out. To me, he compared it to him calling out Anthony Joshua. Hooker said, if I call out Anthony Joshua, do you believe me? And I was like, of course not. He's like, well, that's what Errol Spence is doing. Now, I'm just telling you what I don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you what I was told. Objectively, Errol Spence has changed his tune. He said after the Peterson fight, he was not going to wait around for Keith one-time Thurman. Wasn't going to wait around for him. After the Porter Garcia fight, he said, when they was asked about Budge, and then he criticized his resume, he said that Keith Thurman's the fight. That once Keith Thurman comes back and gets a spectacular win, everyone will demand that fight instead. Look, Keith Thurman's not active. Let's get real. Why do you think that Keith Thurman's coming back? He looked fat at the Porter Garcia fight. He looked like he was nowhere near fighting condition, right? He looked 20 pounds overweight. So, I mean, he's probably 6 months away from getting back in the ring against any type of decent opponent, or making weight. So there's that. He hasn't fought in over a year and a half at this point, going on 2 years. And he's fought twice in 3 years. So what makes you think he's active? Like, why do you think he's going to come back and fight you? I don't think he is. He fights less than Gary Russell Jr. I mean, so why do you think he's coming back? You can't plan around him. It's like having an injured quarterback, right? Keith Thurman's like an injured quarterback. Like, well, we have him on our bench and he'll be back soon. But he's always hurt, so how do you know? Look, I don't know if Keith Thurman's hurt or not. I don't think he is. But he just has no more interest in boxing. So the WBA should strip him just to get rid of him. But, I mean, the truth of the matter is, he's changed his tune from saying, because Errol Spence has changed his tune from saying, I don't want to wait around for Keith Runtime Thurman, once upon a time Thurman, sometimes Thurman, I'm just going to go out there and make the best fights, to saying, well, let's wait for Keith Thurman to come back. He told Crawford, Spence told Crawford, go get the WBO belt off a horn and I'll fight you. He did that. Now you won't fight him. I think Arum might be telling the truth here. And Arum is the last person in the world to trust. I get that. But he seems like he wants to make this fight. He thinks this guy can win, and Crawford's 30 now, 30 years old now. Now's the time to make money off Crawford. Now's the time to build a star. And that star, there's no bigger name for him to fight at 47 than Errol Spence. So let's make that fight. Now Spence is talking about, he doesn't want to fight on ESPN, and this fight can't be made, and he wants to clean up the own side of his street first. Look, assuming Crawford beats Benavidez in October, which he will, Porter says he's out till, his dad, Kenny Porter, said Sean Porter's out until next summer. He's got some things he wants to do, like have a birthday party and be Andrade's cheerleader and a bunch of gibberish, right? So Porter doesn't want to jump right back in the ring. Okay, you've been off since June. Do you really want to wait a year in between fights? You could fight Crawford next March. Why not? Why not? Why do you you said you don't want to wait around for Thurman. Look, let's say Thurman comes back in December, which I think he won't. I think that's way too soon. So let's say Crawford comes back in December. Thurman comes back in December. He likes to take almost a year off in between fights, so you're not fighting Thurman anytime soon. Plus, Thurman doesn't want to fight you because he's scared of you, and he can call Sean Porter's number and say, I want to fight Porter. Plus, Ugas has a mandatory after that. So Porter could be on the shelf for a while. Keith Thurman, we don't know what Keith Thurman's deal is, so you may not even get a chance to fight him. The best fight that you can make, that the other guy wants to actually fight you, is Terrence Crawford. But is Spence giving Crawford the same treatment that Thurman and Porter are giving him? They say they want to fight him, but they don't really want to fight him. Keith Thurman doesn't want to fight Errol Spence, and it seems like Errol Spence doesn't want to fight Terrence Crawford. It's one excuse after another. He's saying, I'm on Showtime. No, you're not. You're with Al Heyman. He's your advisor. You're a promotional free agent. You're actually your own promoter, right? Man Down Promotions. Promote yourself. Call Al and say, I want to fight Crawford. Make the fight happen. I don't care if it's Showtime. I don't care if it's ESPN. I don't care what outlet it's on. I want that fight. The last thing I'm going to say about this is Bob Arum says he doesn't want to make the fight until it's at least 500,000 pay-per-view sales. I'm trying to go through fights which I think this could do a similar number as. The one I keep coming up with is Pacquiao, is Marquez and Bradley. Two big names, but not two huge draws. That fight did about 220 to 250,000 pay-per-view sales. I want to give you the purses. Bradley was guaranteed 4.1 million, and Marquez was guaranteed 6 million. That's 10.1 million in guaranteed revenue. Now, if they split that, right? So if they took that, and that fight, like I said, did around 220 to 250, depending on who you ask. If they split that same pot, right, $10 million guaranteed money, 5 each, and then they made the rest of the revenue off the pay-per-view sales. That's way more. That's almost, Crawford made $3 million for Horn. This would be 5, plus additional pay-per-view revenue. Potentially, you're going to make double what you're going to get fighting anyone else. If the fight does 500,000, you're going to be making a ton of money. And I don't know if it does 500,000. Honestly, I think it does 300,000 in that neighborhood. It could do more. I mean, these two guys are excellent fighters, and it's the best fight that can be made in boxing. So it could do more than, depending on when it is. But if you did it next March, I think this fight would do really well. I think it would do at least 300,000, and at that point, you're making more money in that fight, double what you're going to make to fight anyone else. Think about that. Like, you'd be getting $5-6 million guaranteed. When Garcia and Thurman fought each other, when they unified their two titles, they only made $2 million each. You're looking at about $6 million each. So this is a massive step up as far as income. Plus, there's no one else out there for you to fight right now, Spence. So you have to take this fight. And look, I don't care. If a guy wants to unify, then he has to go through all the other champions. So I don't really care what order he does it in, which is why I didn't give Joshua a bunch of beef for going through Parker first and then Wilder. My beef with Joshua was he didn't fight Wilder next. Not that he fought Parker first, that he didn't fight Wilder afterwards when Wilder met all of his demands. So I don't care. Like, if Spence wants to go fight Porter first, but just fight all the champions, right? Spence said it himself. Like, unifications, when he was talking about Porter, unifications take precedence over mandatories. Well, apply that logic to yourself. You can fight the WBO champ, Terrence Crawford, ahead of your mandatories. Apply your own logic to yourself. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, am I making... And again, I'm not hating on Errol Spence. I love Errol Spence. It just seems to me, objectively, he doesn't want this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Is Spence ducking that smoke? Is Crawford in his head? Is Crawford in Spence's head the same way Spence is in Thurman's head? Leave that below. Let me know what you guys think. And also let me know who you think would win that fight. For Tuesday night fights, this is 3D Boxing signing off, saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.